Here are 5 simple settings that you can change to improve your gameplay in Marvel Rivals. With all the settings in Marvel Rivals, it can be time consuming and tricky to go through all the settings and find the right ones for you. But here are some simple ones you can hop in and change to instantly boost your gameplay. The first one is going to be over in the audio and the basic tab, all the way at the bottom in the voiceover subtitles. And basically what this is going to do when you turn it on is this is going to give a little caption of all heroes' voice logs or Galacta's little comments that she makes throughout the match. And this is going to basically help you track down when players use their ultimates or different abilities, or when important things happen throughout the match. Many pros keep this on, others also keep it off. It's kind of just a personal preference, but what I would recommend for you to do is go in, turn this on, try it out for a couple matches, see if it's too distracting or if you like it and it helps you keep track of what's going on throughout the match. And then you can either obviously go ahead and turn it back off or leave it on. And with this, there's a lot of smaller little settings that come with it when you turn it on, like the font size, the color. You can change whether you see players' names or not in the feed, as well as the transparency and the language. So if we hop in over here with this on, you can see whenever Moon Knight or Galacta talks like that, it actually announces it in that chat. And this can be useful whenever players use their ultimates or anything like that.
I found them.
Like as you can see, when Moon Knight spotted enemies that were nearby,
The moon haunts you.
it says all of this stuff
Demands vengeance.
right in the captions right there, and this can be helpful to keep track of what's going on throughout the game, what enemy players are saying whenever they use their ultimate, or whenever your teammates do anything like that as well. And it can just be really useful to keep this one on. So go ahead and try this one out and see how it goes. The next setting that we're going to go ahead and change is over in the keyboard or the controller settings in the combat, and it's down in the HUD, and this is the reticle. So this has got to be one of the first things you do when you log into this game, as you can change your reticle for any character, and you can have a bunch of different saves for different styles of reticles. And basically what you can do is change everything that has to do with the reticles, like the different sizing, different details, opacity, blur, the different crosshair lengths, and even the colors. You can go ahead and change all the different settings in here however you'd like. And this really helps out with aiming and other things like that. And what I would recommend is go on YouTube and look up a tutorial for crosshairs for whatever character you main. Like this one, for example, is specific to Moon Knight, and this outer circle helps you target and track enemies that are moving. If you just line up the enemy with the outer edge of the circle, it helps you get a bunch of quick elims. And then obviously the cross in the middle to help you with enemies that are standing still or just aiming in general. This is definitely one that you're going to want to change, as the default crosshair is pretty bad in my opinion. The next setting I want you to change is also in the keyboard and the combat under the hero tab, and this is the allied health bars, and I want this to be turned on. Basically what this is going to do is allow you to see all of your teammates' health from any distance as long as they're in sight with you. And this is going to help you out even when you're not a healer, just to be able to see what health your team is all at whenever they take damage, whenever they get healed. And this can let you kind of control the pace of the fight and figure out if you want to stay in the fight, help your team out, or kind of fall back and let the healers do their job if that's what needs to happen. But this is one that you definitely should turn on. This helps not only with healers but with tanks and DPS players as well. It's always just helpful knowing what your team is looking like and how the match is going. 2 more settings that I also changed are a little bit more personal, and they're just some of the keybinds that I find useful. The first one is under the abilities menu in the keyboard and combat, and it's just going to be the melee attack. I switched this from, instead of being a button on my keyboard, I switched it to a button on my mouse. This just lets me feel a little bit more free when trying to melee an opponent. And I just feel like pressing a key is just a little bit clunky, and I just prefer to press a button on the mouse. It makes it a little easier and quicker for me to do, and it really just helps out with my gameplay. The next keybind is under in the UI section, and I just changed Chronovision again from a keybind to a mouse bind. And this is especially important for newer players that are learning the maps. What this lets you do is see any breakable structures within your view, and this can really help you learn the different maps and what's actually breakable and what you can break to find enemies or to help out your team and anything else like that. So when I put this on my mouse, I can just easily see all the structures that are breakable, and I can see if I'm hiding behind something that enemies could potentially break and find me, or if I'm doing the opposite and trying to find enemies. It just really helps out my gameplay. Now the fifth and final setting that I want you to go ahead and change is also again in keyboard or controller under the communication tab, and this is just going to be your ping wheel. So by default your ping wheel has 4 options that they randomly choose for you, but you can actually go ahead and customize all of this, and you can change your wheel from being a 4 section to an 8 section, as well as changing all the voice lines in here. And so for me 4 section is plenty, and I changed mine to attack here, defend here, retreat, and need healing. So attack here, since this is up top, I can just go ahead and hold my mouse wheel down and press
This is where to
attack,
strike.
and this just lets my team know to attack, as well as defending or retreating, anything like that. It's really good to help your team figure out what they need to do, and it's a little bit easier than pressing just the push to talk voice chat button. But my most used is definitely going to be the need healing.
Could use some healing, Khonshu.
And by doing this, you can just let your healers know that you need a little bit of health. And this is obviously really useful for DPS and tank, even some healing players that might just need a little bit of help
On
throughout
your
the match.
toes.
And all this on the ping wheel really just helps with the gameplay and communication with your team, and I think is necessary for all players to go ahead and change. So yeah guys, those are my 5 most useful settings to go ahead and change in Marvel Rivals. Make sure to let me know some of the settings that you guys found that you changed to help improve your experience, as there are a ton of settings that you can go ahead and change in this game. But those are just some of the 5 that I found most useful and quick to change. Again, there's stuff like your graphics, obviously, the different audio levels for music or sound effects. You can go ahead and change any accessibility, colors or languages or sizes of different elements, as well as all the different keybinds. But those are all more personal things that everybody should just go ahead and change for their own. But yeah, let me know what you think of the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.